Hi guys, what's up? This is Ken from Cacao Culture and welcome back to our channel, the best place for chocolate lovers and millennial agripreneurs. In today's episode, we will talk about the three main varieties of cacao, their characteristics, and their flavor profiles. So before we dive into the topic, gusto ko lang i-share sa inyo ang two main points why it's very important to know the varieties of cacao. First, if you're an agripreneur, it's very important because the varieties that you choose for your farm will have an overall effect in the productivity of your farm. So itong mga varieties na to differ in taste, they differ in the maintenance, they differ also in terms of yield and productivity. Choosing a cacao variety for your farm depends on three main factors. One, your local climate or environment. Two, maintenance and production costs. And three, your final market or buyer. So at the end of the day, the choice that you will have to make is that if it makes business sense for you. Second, if you're a chocolate maker or a chocolate lover, knowing the cacao varieties is very important because cacao is very similar to coffee and wine. So there are many factors that influence the flavor of cacao and chocolate. One is your environmental conditions. Two is your cacao variety. Three is how you handle your post-harvest. And fourth is the skill of the chocolate maker. So if you work closely with farmers, knowing the cacao varieties would help you develop your flavor profile during the post-harvest process. Alright, so now let's dive into the topic and discuss the three main varieties of cacao. First is the Criollo variety. The Criollo is considered as one of the rare varieties and it is one of the most expensive varieties. It originates from Central and South America. It is believed that this is the first cacao variety that is planted here in the Philippines during the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade during 1670. Hanggang ngayon, makikita pa rin natin there are still remnants of Criollo in the different provinces of the Philippines. And you will really have to search very hard to find these Criollo varieties. Today, there's only less than 5% of Criollo in the world market. The Criollo variety is considered to be difficult to grow and so very susceptible to pests and diseases. Criollo pods, when ripe, are long, yellow, or red with deep ridges. So malalaman mo na Criollo if the beans are white, and if you cut it in half, you will see a slightly pink color. This variety is considered as a low-yielding variety dahil maliliit ang beans na laman nito. It's still considered as the most expensive and most prized cacao variety dahil sa dinudulot niyang flavor. Criollo has a delicate yet complex flavor profile. It has floral, nutty, fruity flavors na usually na hindi natin mahanap sa ibang variety. Dahil dito, it is still considered as the prince of cacao and used as an ingredient in premium, fine flavored chocolate. Ang next variety ay ang Forastero. Ang Forastero is native to the Amazon and it is the most versatile and the most commonly grown cacao in the world. It is mainly grown in Africa, Ecuador, and Brazil. Around 80% of our cacao is from a Forastero variety. It is significantly more high-yielding and disease and pest-resistant than the Criollo. The Forastero pods are short, yellow, smooth, and with shallow ridges. If you break the beans, makikita mo na they are purple colored. They have bitter and acidic taste. It is also considered as bulk cacao, as some manufacturers combine it with other cocoa beans to enhance the flavor. Ang third variety ay ang Trinitario. Ang Trinitario ay hybrid between Criollo and the Forastero. It has the sturdiness or the high yield and pest-resistant qualities of the Forastero with some remnants of the flavor profile and the complexity of the Criollo. So makikita natin ang Trinitario in most countries that have remnants of the Criollo. So these countries would be found around Southeast Asia, including the Philippines. The Trinitario variety is being produced at around 10% of the global cacao production. The Trinitario variety are usually variable in pod and bean characteristics because the parents have very contrasting qualities. The pods of Trinitario cacao, as it is a crossbreed, can be long or short red, and yellow. Here in the Philippines, ang karamihan ng ating tinanim ay Trinitario varieties. Meron tayong mga pre-approved clones under the National Seed Industry Council in the Philippines. The most prevalent na mga clones na tinanim natin dito would be your UF18, BR25, PBC123, and even the K lines. What's important to know is that these clones have different characteristics. So nagva-vary pa rin sila in terms of sugar levels, bean size, and even flavor. The difference of these clones would greatly affect how you would manage your farm, your post-harvest, and the development of your flavor profiles. So which varieties should you choose? Maraming nagtatanong sa amin kung ano yung dapat nilang itanim. Itatanim ba nila cacao na Criollo or Trinitario? So as an agripreneur, I would always say that hinahanap ko would be your productivity. So I would choose Trinitario varieties over Criollo. So even if Criollo is more expensive and more sought after because of the flavor, ang hinahanap ko as an agripreneur would be your consistency in production. So the Trinitario would give you the consistency of production in your farm. There are certain groups that advocate planting of Criollo. From a conservation point of view, I think these initiatives are very important. Pero if it does not make economic sense or does not bring economic value to the farmer or for the business, less and less people will try to adopt planting of Criollo trees. For an agripreneur, the important thing is that you monitor your trees, you know when to harvest your cacao pods, you know the difference between the varieties, and you implement your post-harvest process very well, and this will lead you to produce high-quality cacao beans. Quality cacao beans has a market that is willing to pay at a higher price. Kung chocolate maker ka naman, ang pinaka-importante is to find quality beans. So, since we're in the Philippines, you could still have access to the Criollo variety. So if you're a chocolate maker that's very excited about flavors and would like to test out, meron kang access to this kind of variety. Kaso lang, the supply might not be enough. The variety has an impact in the flavor of chocolate. But remember, this is just one aspect of it. The other aspects that you will need to consider would be your climate and environment conditions, your post-harvest process, which is your fermentation and drying, and lastly, the skill of the chocolate maker. In our next video, I will talk more about post-harvest processing, specifically cacao fermentation and the development of flavors. So make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you will be notified when we upload our new video. So in the meantime, please make sure to check out our previous videos. We talked about cacao, chocolates, and agripreneurship. So I hope you learned something new and you enjoyed today's video. Have a great week and see you next time. Bye!